C.S. Lewis and the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by Lake and Cyrus for English 310. Clive Staples Lewis was often referred to as C.S. Lewis. Clive Staples was born on November 29, 1898 in Belfast. His parents were Flora Hamilton Lewis and Albert James Lewis. Clive Staples had an older brother named Warren Lewis. Warren was 3 years older than Clive, and they had a very close relationship. At the age of 4, Clive decided that he did not like his name, and he demanded to be referred to as Jaxie. As a child, he enjoyed reading and writing. He also enjoyed creating imaginary worlds with mice and rabbits. When Clive was just a child, his mother passed away. This resulted in Albert, his father, sending him to boarding school. On the way to boarding school, he changed his name from Jaxie to Jack to sound more grown up. While at boarding school, he became ill and had to be sent home. Later, he ended up going to high school, but ended up being later schooled in the country with a tutor. When it came time, Lewis attended Oxford. He could not enlist in the war due to being too young. When Lewis became of age, he enlisted and fought in World War II. He became injured and had to return home. While he was healing, the war ended. Lewis eventually became an English professor at Oxford, and he wrote many books. In 1950, he was nominated for the Carnegie Medal for his book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Although he did not win, he was later nominated in 1956 for the Carnegie Medal for his book, The Last Battle. Lewis won the Carnegie Medal for The Last Battle in 1956. Lewis's beliefs. Before his mother had passed away, Lewis and his family attended an Anglo-Catholic church regularly. But when Lewis's mother passed away, Lewis became angry with God, and he even proclaimed to be an atheist. Although he proclaimed to be an atheist, he enjoyed reading books by Christian authors, and he had many Christian friends. Lewis's Christian friends often tried to push Christianity onto him. Lewis became annoyed with this and wrote to his friend, "You know, I think that I believe in no religion. There is absolutely no proof for any of them. And from a philosophical standpoint, Christianity is not even the best. All religion, that is, all mythologies, are merely man's own invention. I am not laying down that there is nothing outside of the material world. This would be foolish." Years later, Lewis's father passed away. When Lewis's father passed away, Lewis felt God's presence and accepted Christ. As a Christian, Lewis's life greatly changed, and many of his works were affected by his Christianity. Lewis's belief in Christianity occupied and overwhelmed many of his works. One of the works that Christianity is evident is in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, 4 siblings, Lucy, Edmund, Susan, and Peter, are sent to live in the countryside due to the war. While the siblings are exploring the home, Lucy discovers Narnia through the wardrobe. Later, the other siblings discover Narnia. They meet Mr. Tumnus and learn about the evil witch, and they learn about how Aslan is coming to put an end to the winter and the witch's curse. Edmund deceives his siblings and Aslan and goes to the White Witch to tell of where Aslan and the siblings are. While the children are with Aslan, the winter soon disappears and it becomes springtime. The witch is mad and proclaims that she can kill Edmund, but Aslan takes his place. Aslan is killed by the witch, but soon comes back to life. The witch's curse is broken, and there becomes a war between the witch and Aslan's armies. The story is told from third-person point of view, and the narrator is omniscient and alternates between the thoughts of Lucy, Edmund, and Aslan. The story is set during the time of World War II, but most of the story takes place in the magical land of Narnia. There are many themes to the story. Some of the themes to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe are faith and forgiveness. There are also many symbols shown in the story that represent Christianity. For example, when Aslan sacrificed himself for Edmund, many times people say this symbolizes how Christ sacrificed himself for us. Edmund also represents Judas in the Bible. Edmund betrays Aslan and his siblings, just as Judas betrayed Jesus and the disciples. Another example of symbolism is when Miss Beaver anticipates Aslan's arrival, and she is wondering if she will be alive when this happens. Miss Beaver says, "To think that I should live to see this day." This correlates with Simon in the Bible. Simon was excited to be alive for the arrival of Jesus. Since The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is set during the time of World War II, readers can see how much the World War impacted Lewis and his writing. On September 1st, 1939, Germany was under Adolf Hitler's control. Germany invaded Poland, and on September 3rd, 1939, the United Kingdom and France declared war on Germany. This began World War II. During World War II, many parents sent their children to live with other families due to the city being under attack. This correlates with the book, with Lucy, Edmund, Peter, and Susan being sent off to live in the country due to the war. Many people evacuated, especially children, due to the war. There is a great value to study The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in the classroom, especially with a cross-curricular to history. The teacher can teach about the events that led up to World War II and the events that occurred during World War II. The teacher can also discuss how many children were sent away and how some children were sent overseas. This book can also be used as a cross-curricular with science. In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Edmund notices when winter is turning to spring that the air is foggy and that the ice in the streams is melting. This could be used to teach about the forms of water and the states of matter. When using The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in the classroom, there are many strategies that the teacher can use to help the students with comprehension, vocabulary fluency, and writing. One of the strategies that the teacher can use is a think aloud strategy. The think aloud strategy can be used before and during the reading. It can be used with an individual student, with a small group, or with the whole class. The think aloud strategy helps students to monitor their thinking and comprehension as they read. The teacher will begin by reading and modeling the think aloud. For example, the teacher will read a passage and say, did I understand what I just read? The teacher will then allow the students to work with this strategy. The teacher will give the students the feedback, and the teacher will read the passage and answer the pre-selected questions aloud. The teacher will demonstrate to the students how to use context clues, reread the sentence, and read ahead for clarity and comprehension. The teacher can use the read aloud strategies to help students make connections to experiences and other stories. Another strategy that the teacher can use is an audio-assisted reading. This strategy occurs during reading and helps promote fluency. The audio-assisted reading allows the students to listen to the audio recording of the book as they follow along in their own book. This strategy can be used with an individual or in a small group. As the student listens, they are building fluency skills and learning proper phrasing and expression. They are also increasing their comprehension and improving their sight word recognition. Another strategy that the teacher can use is word maps. A word map is a graphic organizer that helps students improve on their vocabulary. A word map allows the students to think about the word in many ways. The word map allows students to have the words synonym, antonym, definition, or drawing of the word on a piece of paper. The word map allows students to have a deeper understanding of the word to help aid in their comprehension. Teachers can use the word map with an individual student, a small group, or the entire class. The teacher can use the word map before, during, or after the reading. A word map will help with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe due to the vocabulary and vernacular being different due to the time setting of the story. For my lesson plan, I wanted to focus on describing the characters. I began by reading chapters 13 and 14 in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. During and after the read aloud, I had a discussion with the students about the vocabulary and the characters and the events that occurred during the chapters. After discussing, the students worked with me to make a Venn diagram on the board. We did a Venn diagram to review who enjoys history and English, and who enjoys both. After reviewing the Venn diagram, the students worked in groups to create a Venn diagram about the character traits of the witch and Aslan as shown to the right. When the students finished, we discussed it as a group about the character traits of the witch and Aslan and what they have in common. To finish the lesson, the students wrote a summary about what occurred in chapters 13 and 14.